Everyone, welcome to Excel Simplified again for more Microsoft Excel tutorial. Today, we will learn how to create pivot tables in Excel to do a detailed analysis of data. Now, I'm using Excel 365, but at the end of this video, I will show you how to use pivot table in classic mode, like the version Excel 2013 or older. I have a spreadsheet over here, which is the sales by product by our outlet. And there are other information like pack size, sales, and the quantity sold. As you can see, it's a very raw data with over 1,000 rows, and we certainly need to summarize it for easier understanding. We may want to know how many products were being sold, how much sales did each product brought in, who are our top outlet, etc., etc. Okay, let's start by going to the menu bar. Click Insert and choose Pivot Table. It will automatically select the data range for us, but we can always change the selection by using this section. We just delete the number and alphabets here, and we go back to this part and click, drag, and highlight the section. But for now, I do not want to change anything, so I will leave it be. There is also another option over here, is where you can choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed, either in the new worksheet or on the existing worksheet, which is here. I always prefer new sheet because it will be tidier. Click OK. Now we have the skeleton of the pivot table here already. On the right side, we have field list, and we have 4 sections over here: filters, columns, rows, and values. So depending on how you want your pivot table to look like, you will just click and drag into these sections. Let's try to build a pivot table when I want to know what are the type of products that were being sold. We do this by dragging the field product to the row section. Immediately, we have the type of products listed here. Next, I want to know what are the pack size of these products available. So I will pull the pack size along to the row section, and it will update immediately on the pivot table. Then maybe I want to analyze how many of these products and pack sizes were sold by different outlets. So I will take outlet and put into the column section. Pull sales into the value section. Now this looks kind of odd because the sales is default at count, which is actually meant how many times this product, this pack size has appeared on the data range, which is not what I want. I want the sales in value. So how do we change that? We do that by clicking on this down arrow, select value field settings, and we change it to sum. Click OK. Now we have the sales value by product, by pack size, and by our outlets. Okay, we move on to slightly more complicated way of analyzing. We go back to the raw data here. We already have sales value, and we have the quantity sold. Now we would like to know what are the average price for these products. So we'll go back to the pivot table. I will rearrange this pivot table first. I'm going to remove the outlet and remove the pack size. We're going to focus on these products without looking at the pack size. And these are the total sales value. What we need now is the quantity sold. So we move this over to the value. And we already know to get the average price, we would use total sales value divided by quantity sold. We have both information here. All we need is another column that will have the formula to calculate it. So how do we do that? We go to our menu bar again, click Analyze, select Fields, Items, and Sets, and calculate the field. So I'm going to name this average price. How will the formula works is by having the sales, field, divide by quantity. It's a field. Click OK. Now we have the average price over here. If this looks a little bit ugly or messy, we can just reduce the decimal. That looks better now. These two we can highlight, right click, format cells, numbers, thousand separator, and we actually don't want to see the decimal points. So here's my average price by product. Let's say we want to rearrange the pivot table so we know which item sold the most quantity. We can right click on the quantity over here and select sort, largest to smallest. So we now know soy sauce is the best seller by quantity. Now we talk about filter, which is this section. But I would like to know a certain outlet's performance. I'm going to click and drag outlet into the filter section. So the outlet you can see is up here on the top left hand corner. Currently it's set to all. Let's say I would like to know how much sales that Sterling Mall outlet brought in. Select Sterling Mall, click OK. You can also select multiple, not just one outlet. You can select 2, 3 or more outlets by using this select multiple items. Click on this. Now you have the option to select any of them. So let's say I want to have Cat Town and Uptown Square. These three outlets has a sales of almost 4.1 million. This is one way of analyzing your data, but sometimes we may want to present in a chart format. All we need to do is go to Analyze, select Pivotchart, and there we have many different types of chart that we can use to present our data. Let's say I'm going to use simple one. Okay. I'll put up another tutorial on charts, but for now we focus on pivot table. Sometimes I got the question, what do we do if the raw data was suddenly changed or updated? Do we need to redo another pivot table from scratch again? The answer is no. Now let me go back to the raw data and change something here. So once we change this to signature source, go back to the pivot table. You can see it is not updated over here. What we do is we go to Analyze and click on Refresh. Now we find, there's a new product signature source. If you're like me who prefer to see pivot table in the classic mode, you can change the settings. I'm going to redo another pivot table using classic mode. Insert, pivot table, OK. Right click in this area, pivot table option, display, select classic pivot table layout. So it has explained here, if we select classic pivot table layout, it will enable dragging of the field into the grid directly. So now we no longer have to use this part, but we can click and drag directly into here. Maybe the pack size and the sales and outlets over here. And we can redo the value field settings. We don't want count, we want sum. Click OK. As for filter, we can click and drag filter instead. And this works the same way as I shown just now.
That's all as an introduction to pivot tables. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like and don't forget to click subscribe for more future videos on using Microsoft Excel. Thank you.